I'm just about to enter an ancient jungle temple and steal a priceless artifact. Assuming, of course, I can get past all the booby traps. Say, do I remind you of anyone? That's right, Brendan Fraser from The Mummy. I'm only kidding, of course. I'm much more like Brendan Fraser from The Mummy Returns. No. When it comes to exciting adventures, seeking ancient artifacts, and all that, we can only be talking about King Solomon's Mines. Romancing the Stone.
No, I ain't cheap.
Sahara. National Treasure. Book of Secrets. Lara Croft. Tomb Raider. The Cradle of Life. No. The movie, of course, that we are talking about today is Dunstan Checks In! What's that? Really? I got a note. We're actually talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark, I guess. Namely, the coolest opening scene of any movie ever. This sequence owes its existence to the James Bond films, which really pioneered the exciting opening set piece, starting with Goldfinger in 1965, and then getting increasingly crazy and elaborate through the 70s. Indiana Jones followed the formula, and most modern action movies do. A scene like this doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie, it just gets your heart pumping, reminds you why you love the hero, gets you jazzed to see what comes next. Plus, it makes a little promise on the part of the filmmakers that even if what comes next is a bunch of exposition and dialogue and setting up the plot, you know these filmmakers are capable of delivering the goods. So be patient, young man. I mean, imagine if Indiana Jones started, we roll the credits, and then he's in the classroom, and we're going to work our way up to all the cool stuff. It might work, it might be cool, but the movie would take longer to work its magic on you. And that's really what this is all about, working movie magic. Strong, exciting opening scene transports us from the world of our humdrum lives into the world of the movie. And it does it a lot quicker than, say, a long scene of dialogue would. That's why a movie like Lord of the Rings opens with a scene like this. There's going to be a lot of dialogue about rings and hobbits and Bilbo's birthday and Proudfoots. So let's hook everybody first and let's make a little promise. Hold on through the boring hobbits, and we'll give you more stuff like this after you sit through this. There's something else I want to point out about this Indiana Jones scene, though, and that's how realistic and kind of thoughtful it is. I mean, obviously, archaeologists are always being crushed by boulders in Peruvian temples. I just read another story like that this morning. How did they get the boulder to roll out at exactly the right time? Actually, where did they find this boulder? I mean, obviously, you and I can go to Menards and get a boulder the size of a Buick anytime we want, but these Peruvian natives, how did they do it? Who cares? The scene is great. It's not about realism. It's about fun. I mean, you know what Indiana Jones would be if he obeyed all the laws of physics and architecture and history and archaeology? This guy. The guy in Office Space. This is a boring guy in an office, which is what Indiana Jones would be if he took away all the fun elements. It's all fun elements. Maybe I should just show a black screen and say that's what Indiana Jones would be without fun. Okay, here's the point. If I wrote a book about a boulder chasing an archaeologist, it'd be a sweet book, obviously, but I'd have to work a lot harder to make you believe it. Because at any point, you could just look up from the book and say, wait a second, this makes no sense. Why is this boulder chasing this archaeologist? But a movie just keeps going, just keeps moving. You can't look up from it, especially one shot and edited for maximum impact by a really great filmmaker like Steven Spielberg. It doesn't really give you time to think. I mean, sure, in the back of your mind, you know that none of this could really happen, but it's right there happening on the screen and it looks and feels realistic enough, so you just go with it. Which in this case is fine, but what else do movies make you just go with? Rebellion. and fornication, portrayed as romantic and cool. Killing people, portrayed as fun and cool. Being killed is fun and cool. Self-pity and despair, portrayed as grim and cool. The list goes on. Now, you might say,
I know that stuff is bad.
but if you spend 2 hours during a movie letting yourself get swept up in it, well, your heart is like a compass. A movie might not turn the needle from north to south, but it might move the needle just one notch away from true north. And that can happen even if you think you're being discerning. Why else would the Bible tell us to be careful about the company we keep? Stay away from those who would entice us into evil and flee temptation. Well, it's because we're enticable, we're temptable. And if we go looking into the wrong things, well, this might happen. Adios, senor.